Namaskar, hello and a very warm welcome to this 5-day online training on media information literacy. I am Tanvi Khurana and I welcome all of you in this particular training. If you haven't registered so far, I would request you to please register yourself. This training started yesterday, that is 19th of August, and today is 20th of August. That means we are entering into the day 2nd of this online training program. Let me please tell you that day 1 we discussed media literacy, its policy perspective, concept, need and scope. And today is the second day of this training where we are going to discuss media literacy, competency and skills. On day 3, that is tomorrow, we'll be discussing news literacy, and on 4th day we'll be discussing advertising literacy. On day 5th, that would be the final day, we will discuss media literacy and non-violence communication. So every day we have a separate topic under the title which comes media information literacy. So you can raise your queries if you have any, and if you have not registered yourself, I will be explaining the entire process of registration towards the end of this program. This is a 5-day training and this is all conceptualized and organized by CIET NCERT in collaboration with IIMC, that is Indian Institute of Mass Communication. Towards the end of this training, we will give you the link of the course that will be uploaded on the Diksha portal, and if in case you score 70% and above marks in the course, then you will be given the certificate as well. So for that you have to watch all the 5 videos, all the 5 programs from day 1 to day 5. So today, like I said, today is the second day and we have a guest with us in our studio. Let me please introduce him to all of you. We have with us Professor Dr. K.S. Arul Selvan. Sir.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. Sir is the Director of School of Journalism and New Media Studies from IGNOU, that's Indira Gandhi National Open University, Maidangadi, New Delhi. So the topic is media literacy, competency and skills. Let's ask Sir, what is it that we are going to understand in this particular program? Before we begin this conversation, I just would like to explain all our viewers that if you want to raise your queries, there are multiple methods through which you can get in touch with us. So in the form of ticker, we are going to display all the information throughout this program, but let me just explain you everything once again. And if in case you want to call us, the number would be 8800440559, and there is a specific email ID on which you can contact us, that is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. At this moment, you're watching us on eVidya channel number 6 to channel number 12, and also on our multiple YouTube channels, that is NCERT Official and NCERT PM eVidya channel number 6 to channel number 12, wherein you can write your questions in the live chat box, and we'll be receiving those questions till 5 o'clock. So you have a lot of time, and I'm sure the sir would be more than happy to answer all your doubts, all your queries. So we'll be waiting for your questions for sure. Let's ask the question again. And sir, what is the aim or what is the focus of this particular program? What are the competency and what are those skills that you think a person should have or they require?
Okay. Thank you for the invitation. And the second day topic, we are going to discuss very minute aspect of media literacy. In continuation of first day, that's yesterday's presentation. You might have learned about the basics of media literacy and its relevance, the need in today's context. That was might have been detailed manner Professor Manubhuti Yadav might have explained to you. That you have learned the relevance, you have learned the need. In order to become more media literate, certain prerequisite characteristics are required, and that is the main focus of this presentation. We will discuss the 4 dimensions of skills and competencies in this presentation. 1, the basic pillars of media literacy. There are pillars, I will explain those pillars. Each pillar needs a specific set of skills and competencies. Second, for that specific skill sets, what are the competencies are required? Some of them may be soft skills, maybe technical skills and platform oriented skills. So, that is a second segment. Third, in order to become more media literate, in order to engage with the media in more meaningful manner, we need to understand some technicalities. That is a third aspect of media literacy skills and competencies. The fourth one, and we will try to understand how we can integrate media literacy in a regular pedagogical method. So, these are the four components in this presentation. Let us understand the concept of media literacy from the skills and competencies perspective. This is a little bit of repetition of yesterday's presentation of Professor Yanupati Yadav, and the definition of media literacy says that it involves the ability to critically engage with the media content. Critically engagement with the media requires not necessarily interpreting the media content, but along with that we need to know how to access the right information from the right platform. So, that is one of the critical requirement, followed by critical understanding, cognitive skills and understanding the materials, reading between the lines. These are the critical aspect of message we have received from the various media platforms. The third one is about how we can participate in the media system. So, the definitions clearly says that how critically is all is the interaction, participation, engagement and empowerment with your media platform. You might be aware about that couple of decades back. Our engagement, our participation with the media system is more or less a very unidirectional, linear approach and top to bottom level. Top to bottom model in the sense there is a one city or where the production center located, either could be the newspaper or radio or television, and from there the messages or communication or programs packaged and delivered to the different sections of the society. So, we were just receiving the messages, but in the contemporary scenario we are not in that level, we are in the horizontal communication in the sense the newspaper editor or editorial team produces a news package for us. Similarly, as an individual, you and me, we can create a package thanks to the online and digital skills. So, that is you can see the difference between the elder generation and the new generation, the way the audience are engaging with the media system. So, this is the unique aspect. We need to understand that the digital and online platform is not that simple. It is not like a newspaper where the requirement is only language. Radio, we just understanding the language is sufficient. Television, we need little more understanding about how to deal with the moving images. But online platform is little different, where the technical understanding also required, because that engagement and participation we can become more meaningful provided if we understand the platform. And but being a media literate, it has its own benefits of analyzing the content in a more holistic manner. We can evaluate the content, we can evaluate the participation in a broader sense that helps us to make informed decisions. And that the third part is the media literacy helps the individuals to be part of the communication system in a responsible manner. So, that is the three pillars of media literacy, and let us understand the components of media literacy, the pillars of media literacy, the three: access, understanding, participation. These are the three pillars of media literacy. Let us understand each pillars, how it can be related with our regular engagement with your media system. And one we need to understand that all the media system does not have the equal characteristics. Earlier I was talking about a couple of generation system. that point of time newspaper comes in a printed format, and a radio, if you are live you want to watch, you need to have radio set, or if you want to listen to recorded programs, you need a separate record player. And similarly television sets, or if a film, we have to go to theaters. Interestingly, in this online and digital platform, with your handheld mobile devices or computing devices, you can access all these platforms. We do not need to go to theater to watch a film, rather the OTTs are available, and the live streams are available of television news channels through various social media platforms. Similarly, for podcast, online newspapers, e-version of the newspaper, national newspapers are available. So, all are integrated. At the same time, all these are available in individual individual platform respectively, but as an individual media user, we need to know the differences between the social media, what is traditional media, what are the emerging platform, and what we can do with the newspaper, what we can't do with the traditional media, what can be done with the social media. This understanding of platform basic features is one of the requirement in order to access a media. Similarly, the access not guaranteed to all, and the internet penetration as of 2024 is close to 74% of India's population. India is being India is having a second highest number of internet users, but still we have issues with the digital divide. And digital divide might be a little old concept, where we are dividing the internet users, those are having access, those does not have access to the media system, computing devices. But in the contemporary scenario 2024, 2023, we have moved to another level of issues, digital inequalities, that affects the media literacy tremendously. For example, if I know one particular language, which is the language, for example, my mother tongue is Tamil, but in an online platform I want to access information, large number of information is available in English. The interface is in English, materials close to 55% of the online content is in English, dominant language, and whereas the regional languages availabilities are limited. If I am not familiar with international languages or national languages, I am limited to my regional content, which is scarcely available. That is one of the inequality that creates a divide. Similarly, the people having inability to understand the technicality, they may be having a disadvantages, and similarly the location disadvantages, gender, income, the many ways in which the inequalities are happening in online platform. Here the media literacy, we have to contextualize in the terms of inequality, how to overcome that part. So, this is one of the issue, because access to right information is a challenge. That inequality might be a biggest hurdle for many of us. Even though having many access, mobile connectivity is available for 93% of the Indian populations, internet connectivity we are saying 74%, and even then the language availability, the speed in which we can access the materials, that differs, that creates inequality. That is we have to take into consideration while understanding the media literacy, while accessing right information. And main quality of the first pillar of media literacy is how to access right information, information retrieval. For example, if there is a one health crisis, and international agencies or government of India is giving a health warning, and we need to understand that particular health warning in a broader context. Newspapers might be giving today's updates, television might be repeating the same press releases from the government as well as from international health agencies. We need to understand the background, where this health crisis is happening, how far India is positioned today. That kind of information we need to extract from the available sources. So, we have realized that this is a problem. I need to understand more about the current health crisis. Where can I go for that? Is it international, like a WHO is more reliable, or Ministry of Health, or the affiliated institutions like a medical boards, commissions and all? These are the reliable sources and how to approach those institutions, how to access the information about the latest updates. This is called information retrieval, not necessarily the technical skills, but also we need to verify the institutions and we need to verify the informations are provided to us. So, these are the primary primary characteristics of media literacy's first pillar, that is called accessing media. Secondly, once we have reached a position of accessing information, we got the right information from the right platform and materials are provided to us. But remember that the every individual creating content from that one individual's perspective. I might have born and brought up with certain cultural social settings. I may have a different understanding about the world. You may have a different background, might have a different understanding about the different issues. When both of us asked to write one common incident, the choice of words, the way in which we are describing, unconsciously it reflects our personal understanding of the issues. This I am talking about individual level, but think about the broader level. The newspapers, newsrooms operates in a 24/7 manner. Various individuals are being involved. Similarly, for television, film and whatever the communication level, context, the individuals are making the programs. So, might be the group work. So, many people are contributing, each one it has its own role. When we are contributing and the choice of the words, choice of the sentence, the tone and the perspective varies person to person. I might be intent to give very objective information, but the choice of the word I have taken might be giving different meaning to you and others. The biasness and in the intention behind the content and the stereotypes, biasness is all part of the communication system. Some might be more close to the neutral, some might be very close to the propaganda or persuasion or entertainment. Each communication element plays a very crucial role in that part. So, as a media literate person, we need to have a skills and competencies to dissect the content. What is the intention behind this press release? What is the intention behind this particular politician's press conference? What is the reason for particular advertisements? What is the reason for particular news items being projected in the first page of prime time and all? Ask questions, why this is happening, and we can easily understand the intention behind this particular communication. Remember that there is no free meals in the world. Every communication is being delivered to others, to group or to the nation, to the globe with a certain hidden agenda. That hidden agenda might be very mild impact for the large number of people. Certain messages might be very harmful, but we need to know about this intention very clearly. Media literacy skills helps us to that. If you ask questions, the basic questions of why this is happening, you can start understanding the intentions easily there. Similarly, I told about the biasness, it might be for various reasons. This is a deliberate attempt to convince somebody else. That's called subjectivity, that's called biasness. When you are trying to be a neutral, so you will take the perspective of all the sides involved in that. When you become more subjective, the biasness, you go towards one or two particular resources or ideologies or the incidents or events, then you can understand that. If very less number of diversity within the presentation, you can understand that it's likely to be more biasness. If we are trying to accommodate more perspectives, that the neutrality start coming automatically. So, this is one crucial understanding required in order to engage with the media. Particularly stereotype and biasness are very strong components in the media system, because our opinion, in the individual opinion matters in every aspect, be it the commerce or marketing level, the purchase based on our opinion. If it is a democratic setup, whatever decision we are making based on our opinion. In every aspect, the opinion matters, and largely the individual opinions are based on interaction with others and media and other component. We have very limited option to interact with everybody, rather media gives a lot of information. So, we have to be a little more careful, and I told you about the platforms are different, and similarly the contents are created by individuals. Here we need to understand that messages are not created, but rather it is being constructed. The message construction we need to understand that, because camera, if they have angle, the movement of camera, editing, it has its own meaning, color, and the position of newspaper articles, everything, not necessarily text, even the content, position, movement, color, components, elements, signs, symbols, everything delivers certain information. We need to understand the grammar of media. Film, what kind of grammar uses, television, what kind of grammar uses, newspaper, what kind of grammar uses. If we can understand that, then the message, the meaning of the message can become more clearer with the understanding about the biasness, intention, that makes our engagement with the media more critical. So, that is what the required cognitive skills to understand all these elements. That is the second pillar of media literacy. And once access is ready, we have got the materials, we are analyzing those materials and evaluate the content in order to accept that content message or reject that content or message. The basic principle is very simple. You just ask question about the credibility. The information is coming from particular source, whether that source is credible or not. If WHO is giving information, or unknown institution from a remote corner is giving information. If there is a lot of difference between the typical recognized institutions or unknown individuals and institutions, and easily you can ask these questions. If the institution or individual is credible, definitely the message must be having more responsible way of providing the information. Similarly, you need to understand the difference between facts and opinion. If you take the newspaper, it has its own system of functioning. 24 pages are divided into multiple segments: front page, city, business, sports, and international segment. You can understand that those pages largely contains information, largely contains factual presentation. If you go to the inner page, for example, editorial page, editorial or column or cartoon, everything carries information loaded with the opinion, written by experts, written by the editorial team members. You need to understand that opinion loaded with a lot of comments. Factual information provides a neutral information. So, you need to understand the difference between facts and opinion, then it is easy to evaluate the content. Similarly, this is a basic principle of journalism, is when you get the information, double verify the information. So, that is what the basic grammar of journalism. Similar principle needs to be followed in the media literacy process. When you got information, when you are not sure about that, just cross check that, cross verify that. If information is coming from one website, might be you can check it with your personal friend. If somebody is giving in press releases, verify with the website. Cross verification, better it go with the different platforms rather than the same platform. So, this is the basic principles of evaluating the content. Analyzing the content and evaluating the content are part of second pillar called understanding media. That is first pillar is accessing, second pillar of media literacy is understanding. The third component or rather we can say third pillar of media literacy is creating media content. The communication become more meaningful provided if we start participating in this process. The beginning I am giving the comparison between the earlier generation and new generations to 20 years back or 25 years back. A newspaper, even now also the newspapers, the television, for prime time 9 o'clock broadcast is happening, how much facility do we have to participate with the anchor? So, anchor or prime time panelist, they start discussing that. So, our role is passively listening to them. That's a part, and response is very limited, participation is limited, and we can't be produce a content for the largely institutionalized media system. But thanks to the online and digital platform, and there are a lot of accounts, particularly after 2005 and 2010, the web 2.0 provides a more interactivity, and coupled with massive penetration of mobile and easily accessible data plans, we can participate in the online system. You might be familiar with the terms reels, shorts and videos, streaming and all become more popular with the user generated content. UGC, this is being called UGC that. And users, individuals like people like you and me, we are creating a content, not necessarily text content. There are various social media platforms surviving based on our own videos, our own photographs, our own interpretation, our own text that. So, that is the beauty of the current scenario of communication, where the participations become more meaningful. The content can be created, and it can be created with the help of text or audio or video or combination of all. So, that is the level of understanding and confidence level of using those elements in our presentation, because what you want to convey, that you have to decide which method, which combination gives a meaningful presentation. You have to decide on that. And second and third component of participation is we have to be more careful about ethical standards. The institutional media like a newspaper, television works in a more systematic manner. But in the online platform, we are talking about reels and shorts. These are created by individuals. So, individuals does not have any control. I can create reels as per my choice, but the newspaper can't create news as per their own choice, right? It has its own rules and regulations. They have to follow the law of the land, the constitutional framework. They can't deviate. There is another aspect of a newspaper or the television or film, the ethical standards. Certain things we can be manipulate, we can entertain, we can't experiment. Many things can be done, many things can't be done. So, this is called ethical standards. Ethics certain, for example, if you go to Western media, they hesitate to show the dead bodies. This is their ethical standards. And in Indian media, particularly in the regional languages, you will find a lot of blood in the newspapers and television, because rampantly we show the dead bodies. So, this is kind of because when we see the blood and dead bodies, and psychologically it creates trouble, particularly children. So, that is why we hesitate to do that. Similarly, every aspect there are some ethical standards. As being an individual, when we are talking about media literacy, we are talking about our individual engagement with the media. We have to be more responsible towards a society. This is called digital citizenship. Ethical standards need to be maintained at utmost care. The last aspect is the last aspect of creating media content as the third pillar of media literacy is copyright laws, and you have to be very careful about intellectual property rights and its usage in your personal content. And copyright laws are very stringent, and we are not authorized to copy somebody else's own creation, right? Certain limited periods, certain seconds, certain content is available, but otherwise we have to be more careful about that. So, we have understood that so far that the pillars of media literacy. Let us understand that the skills required to become more media literate. And for example, we need to understand how strong this media system is, because once you are start engaging with the media, accessing or understanding or creating content, we have to understand that the impact and influence of media. Understanding how this creates a lot of it's a very powerful institution, media. It's being at a political level or in a social level, cultural level or corporate level, media plays a very crucial role. For example, in the health system, and newspaper can't provide a solution for health crisis, but they can bring couple of experts, health experts into their platform, and whatever the advice comes from the experts can be delivered to the millions of people. That media can do that. That they can bring a dialogue. The dialogue can be provided to many large number of people. That's a service newspaper can do for society. So, this is one example I gave that. Similarly, the how far the media can be used for our own self awareness level, the personal privacy data, that because of the more intimacies happening with the media system, we have to be a little more careful about revealing the information, revealing our own personal identity, locations and numbers and other personal data in a public platform. It's a little bit careful. We have to be restrained and little more careful about revealing those data, and not necessarily the revealing information, and how people are engaging the media needs to understand that. The engagement with the media could be many level, could be a civic engagement or could be a political engagement, could be a non-political engagement. And you can easily, if you go to social media account of yours, you can see the how your friends are engaging with your platform, with you and others and all. Are they talking about individuals, individual issues, talking about collective community issues, talking about social issues, talking about political issues? It's political issues, but it's not that serious issue. So we can divide that the engagement with the media in a different level. So this is one of the understandings required, and it's another aspect of media skills and competency is critical thinking. A couple of things is you start questioning everything, questioning about messages critically, the timing and the framing and the perspectives, choice of words, the color. So if you start asking questions, you can start understanding more intention behind those communication, and start you can understand the one popular term, reading between the line. So that's a critical aspect of crucial aspect of media understanding analysis part. And remember that this opinion and engagement influences our knowledge system, and lot of decisions we make in a routine life based on our understanding of worldly affairs, including the participation in the family level or community level or social level. The informed decisions more crucial that. And ethical understanding, you have to be more careful about moral implications of the message being created or accessed individually, and be more responsible. Freedom of expression is guaranteed through Constitution article number 19(1)(a). But remember that the same Constitution immediately after 19(1)(a) they have reasonable restriction 19(2). The Constitution, Indian Constitution, it has its own restriction of freedom of expression. So we have to be careful about what kind of limit is allowed, what can be done under the 19(1)(a), what is not allowed under 19(2). So that be more careful. That brings a more responsibility towards. We are not creating content for ourselves. We are creating content. We are putting it in online that can be accessed not necessarily from your family, friends, could be from anyone from India or outside India. It's global reach, and that we have to be more careful. And one other aspect of become more media literate person is your communication skills needs to be a little more stronger, because what we want to convey to the audience, that needs to be very simple, clear, and come to the point level. For example, articulation is very, very crucial, and in the main message or meaning needs to be presented to the others very clear and straightforward. Remember that in a mass communication, the communication happens in a mass level, and what I am trying to convey may not be create the same meaning to everyone, but we will try to understand the lowest common denominator through which that whatever I am trying to convey should reach the large number of people, more or less similar meaning should create that. So that can be happen if we are very clear with our communication, articulation is very clear, and meaningful dialogue, meaningful discussion, debate happens if we engage with the media in a simple and clear manner. And there is a lot of scope for collaborating with others, not necessarily that individual needs to acquire all the skills, all the competencies of media in order to deliver certain content or access the content. With the current online and digital platform, individual can work with a team to create many things or drive many aspects from not necessarily online world, but many media content. So technical proficiency is crucial. In the beginning of the presentation, I was talking about that newspaper we can easily read, the portable can carry anywhere, electricity is not required, and you can carry during your bus travel or train travel, wherever you go, you can do that, portable. But one of the main constraint for newspaper access is language proficiency. If the newspaper is given to us, it's not in the language, it's not very familiar, and it's become it's a waste paper for us. Similarly, television, radio, film, language plays a crucial role, and the grammar of the medium also very important. These are the traditional media's characteristics. When you come to online and digital platform, the same repeats. The language is very crucial, and all the grammar of individual platform is very crucial. But at the same time, we need to know how to operate computing devices, how to access certain services, how to extract information from reliable sources. These are technical skills, and remember that the technology changes very fast, and once we take a break from the technology, means once we become slow in understanding the technology, then that create a huge gap between the ongoing development and our understanding. So once that creates, then automatically we will be left over, that the growth and the world, entire world must be moving very faster manner, we will be left over. That's create trouble. So that can be compensated if we keep on understanding, keep on updating ourselves with regard to changing technical field. That's crucial when we are ready to adapt that. The one of the crucial component of media literacy is understanding required, engagement is required. At the same time, we should be able to adapt ourselves to changing scenario. The information might be coming through SMS. It was the scenario once upon a time. Now the messages are delivered in a different level, like 24/7 different online platforms, or through mobile computing devices, and the many method, the airdrop, the many ways in which the messages are done. Ultimately, the messages are coming, but comes in a different technical platform. We have to be more adaptable to the technical changes in order to become more meaningful engagement with the media. And cultural awareness is crucial, because the media literacy helps us to create a content. I told you that content is not necessarily from immediate locality, it might reach nook and corner of the world. So we have to understand the global perspective of the cultural adoption or understanding of your messages. Diversity of representation is very crucial, and this helps us to understand the media more meaningful manner. Remember that in the social setup, certain institutions, certain stakeholders, certain players are dominant. They play a very dominant role, and but society not necessarily consists of those dominant players. There are wide variety of segments, wide variety of audiences. The might be comes from remote places. Some of them may be marginalized, some of them may be disadvantaged due to language, due to region, due to economical conditions, whatever thing. But the media representation, and we have to accommodate all the voices in the platform. And being a media literate, you might be voicing your concerns, but remember that digital divide, digital inequality, I told you earlier, it creates kind of space in which very limited number of people are able to participate. That scenario, you had to give a voice to voiceless. This is one of the expectation as a media literate person. And this is a third component of presentations about how we can overcome some technical issues. We discussed about the pillars, we discussed about the communication skills requirement to become more media literate. Now, what are the issues that can be, the challenges that can be overcome, or we can manage in order to become more media literate. One of the aspect is overcoming the digital inequalities. There are a lot of access barriers due to technological issues, or because of community access, underprivileged communities, due to various social cultural factors that can be addressed to the government schemes. There are many things can be addressed. For example, Government of India has set up many community information centers across various remote locations that overcome the issues of remoteness, issues of slow growth in terms of internet speed or lack of computing devices and all. So, there are various ways in which institutions can provide the solution. Secondly, the digital inequality can be addressed in individual level, that is like a media literacy, media literate, information literate or digital literate, that is a one aspect of that. The second important aspect of overcoming the digital inequality is our education should become more inclusive. Inclusive in the sense media literacy program should be part of all the levels of education. And this particular program, I am thankful to the institutions that the series continuously every year they are taking efforts to organize online workshop to bring the discussion about the media literacy in the teaching community. So, this is the many more efforts. These are kind of informal level of engagement with the media literacy, but a formal way is introducing as a curriculum is part of the different levels of pedagogical process. That is a very point. And the another technical aspect of the current scenario is how to overcome the misinformation. And this is, I told you about the cross verification technique of learning how to fact check the information and verify the source and be aware about what is happening around the world. This is very crucial, and information revolution is happening. We are not subscribing to one newspaper, or we are not watching a one television program in a day. Look at that. In today's scenario, those who are having access to all the large number of media entities, in average 5 to 6 hours, 7 hours at time is being spent with media components, not necessarily reading, not necessarily watching movies. There are various ways in which through mobile, computing, television, newspaper, radio, film, altogether our media engagement has become higher in this nowadays. We have to be, because more time we are spending with the media, comparatively the statistic shows that the family engagement is 2 to 3 hours, but rather media engagement is 5 to 6 hours. See how much time we are spending with the media rather than spending time with the parents and siblings. This is very crucial, and this can be controlled, and our engagement should be meaningful if we are able to control our engagement through the media literacy point of view. That. And the important point I would like to highlight as part of the presentation is the fourth component, the last component, how the media literacy can be integrated with the education. The curriculum needs to be framed, appropriate curriculum, taking consideration of social and cultural dimension of the locality, and we have to embed the media literacy across the different subjects and grades level, and interdisciplinary approach is required. In the interdisciplinary approach, in the sense how physical education or biological education or sociological studies or technical education can be delivered to the large number of sections of people with the help of media. And now see that this presentation we are doing through online, through television about a simple topic. Similarly, that experiments can be done on different subjects, because in the pedagogical process the students engagement determines the learning outcome, and in the classroom teaching the delivery happens mostly from the teachers. Once we are given a subjects in, for example, chemical sciences, we are asking them to make presentations about certain formulas. They are themselves involving in the creating of slides and coming to the class and making a presentation. So, engagement with the similar media elements provides a better learning outcome. So, this is the outcome of media literacy, and we have to be more aware about learning media literacy through formal or informal manner. The project based learning is one of the best example through which media can be engaged with the students. Interactive sessions is one, real life scenarios, for example through with the online video content or with the artificial intelligence or similar technical level, a real life scenario can be created, animations and graphics. We may not be able to have a laboratory settings, but at least with the similar technological available tools, the teaching learning process can become more meaningful of creating and engaging with the media part. There are various examples of media literacy's applications in the educational scenario, for example, case studies, practical exercise and community engagement. These are some of the ways in which the media literacy can be considered. But I like to recollect the certain key points which I discussed so far. For example, the media literacy is very crucial in the today's world because of our engagement with the media become more, and in a day we are spending large number of time with the media. Our opinion system is being completely influenced by the way we are engaging with the media. Our informed decisions are indirectly controlled by media elements. So, we have to be a little more careful with our engagement with the media. And media literacy is a crucial, that is what we are saying, but it requires certain skills and competency in order to make our engagement more meaningful. So, that is what we discussed so far in this whole presentation about access, understanding, evaluating and creating media content with the context of various social, cultural, technical issues needs to be understood. That the futuristic implication is it has a lot of role, it has significant role in shaping the future generation. The current generations are born and brought up with the technological environment. They have more control with the media entities. So, as a institutional players, we had to have more responsibility towards the future generation to make them more safe from any bias, any stereotypes or any intention of various stakeholders.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. And I'm sure the media students, the media persons, everyone agrees to each and every point that you have mentioned here, that the role of media literacy is utter crucial in today's world. And if we talk about the future implications, yes, the role of media literacy of course affects the future generations, so one has to be really careful. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us today, and it was a wonderful presentation indeed. But there are certain questions that I would like to ask you. We have certain questions from our viewer side as well, so may I?
Yeah, please.
There's a viewer, he is asking that is there any book on media, on competencies and skills on how to become a media literate that you can recommend?
Right, this is one other emerging area, but now we can understand that NCERT is taking a lot of effort to provide an online training. That itself signifies that the emerging area, and we are facing a lot of shortcoming of literature. That is one of the reasons why you are organizing 5 days workshop of delivering content. But still, this media literacy experiments not a new component in the educational field. At least in the developed countries, they have experimenting with the media literacy for the last 40-50 years. Many multinational agencies, they have produced curriculum frameworks and skills competency guidebook manuals are available. And one of the top leader in the media literacy campaign is UNESCO. UNESCO, they have created a valuable content in this field, particularly if the teachers or teaching community wants to use or wants to understand its implication in the learning, teaching learning process. UNESCO came with a curriculum framework of media literacy that would give very good understanding about using media literacy in the day-to-day life. Fortunately, I was part of the curriculum committee in 2010 and 2020 of UNESCO's International Committee of Frame the Curriculum Framework. It's available in Creative Commons, and anyone can download that book.
Okay, sure. So I'm sure the students who require that book, they will definitely download it. So one more thing we would like to understand, you mentioned about the sensitivity of culture for media persons. So how sensitively a media person should handle the news of either tradition or culture or religion of any nation?
For example, this journalism, it can flare up a very small incident into the major crisis, and that is one of the basic rule book of newsroom is when there is a conflict happens between communities, groups or different social institutions, they'll always avoid naming those institutions, naming those communities, naming those religious stakeholders, because the media's role here is to bring the peace rather than flare up the community conflict. So that's how the sensitivity towards cultural values are very crucial. And once the reporter or correspondent of international or national institutions, national newspapers, they have to be very careful while covering those institutions. I'll agree to that point of view, but remember that this is about institutional arrangements, but with the help of social media, the individuals can propagate, can convey whatever message they want to do that. Nobody is going to control. Of course, there are systems in a place, government level, regulatory level, or in a social media platform itself. There are things are happening in controlling those overreactions, but the ethical standards is very crucial. But we have you might have witnessed in the crisis, the recent crisis, there are a lot of ethical violations in the recent scenario. You can recollect that point. Restraint and be responsible. Institutions, they will take care about themselves, but individuals, we have to be more careful, more responsible.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir, for answering the questions. And I'm sure the students and the viewers, if they're looking for any answers, they've got it from your presentation and from this entire program. Thank you so much for being with us today. It was a wonderful interaction, and it was a pleasure having you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to all the viewers as well for being a part of this wonderful program. And today, like I said before, that this is the second day of our 5-day online training where we discussed media literacy, competency and skills. So now let me quickly show you that how you can register yourself. All you have to do is open any browser and type CIET on that. Once you type it, you will see the home page of our website and you can see multiple options. If you click on the activities option, the third last option is workshop/training. Please click on it. Once you click on it, a new page will open, and if you scroll it a little bit down, you can see the title of the current online training, which is Media and Literacy, Information Literacy. Please click on that. Another page will open, and here you can see the schedule mentioned. The entire schedule has been mentioned from day 1 to day 5, who all can participate, what are the objectives, and the entire schedule in detail has been mentioned, and the first day's video and the presentation has also been uploaded if you want to have a look once again. So here you can see a QR code. If you scan the QR code, a form will open. Please fill in the details and submit it. You will be registered, or click on this link. A form will open and you can fill your details and you will be registered. Please submit it. So once you're done with this, you can see once you scroll it down, there is a feedback QR code as well. If you have any feedback, any suggestion, any advice, then please scan this QR code or click on this link and write down your suggestions. Here, if you can see, the step number 3 is about the online course. On the 5th day, that is on 23rd of August, a link will be uploaded here. And this would be the online course link which will be launched on Diksha portal. And the last date would be to be a participant of this quiz would be 30th of March 2025. That means you have a lot of time, but you will get 3 attempts to take part in this assessment. Not more than that. And if you score more than 70%, you will be given a certificate. But please have some patience. The certificate preparation will take somewhere around 15 to 20 days. It will be uploaded on your Diksha profile page itself, but please have some patience. And apart from that, this is our online trainings email ID, training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. This is a very specific email ID. If you have any questions regarding this program, regarding this 5-day online training, please raise it, and not just during this program, but later on as well. Our team would like to answer all the queries that you have. With this, we are wrapping up our today's program, but let me tell you that tomorrow sharp at 4 o'clock we'll come back again on day 3rd, and the topic to be discussed will be news literacy. With that, this particular program is being wrapped up, but the next upcoming program is also a very special program titled Boosting Attention Span in the Classroom, and this is a part of Sahyog, where we discuss a lot regarding the mental well-being of the children. So thank you so much for being a participant, and I'm Tanvi Khurana. I'll take a leave of you. Please keep on watching eVidya channels and raise your queries. Thank you. Have a great day ahead. Namaskar.